everyone, I'm Sandie La Nae. Welcome to Psychic Creations. We have a very fun show for you today. I would like to welcome back the awesome Kim VanZyll, as she was on our show twice before with her fabulous Zentangle creations. She made this just for me. I love it. Now she has new Zentangles to show us, and she's also going to be talking about her awesome adventures in regards to her Zentangle talents and skills. Please welcome to Psychic Creations, Kim VanZyll.
Thank you, Sandy.
It's nice to have you back again.
Love it.
I love it. Now, if you would, could you please explain to our viewers again just what Zentangle is?
Sure. So Zentangle, it's an art method, it's a type of art method. It kind of came about 2003, so it's been about 16 years now, I guess. Maria Thomas, Rick Roberts, kind of the founders back east in Massachusetts. Maria was already a real well-renowned artist, very talented with her calligraphy and her big botanicals, and she was working on a huge big manuscript and kind of just got into this zone of drawing small little detail, repetitive patterns. And for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, I guess, was kind of in this meditative state, but still doing art. And when that happened, they just felt it was a very, very special gift kind of handed to them or came about. And from then on, that weekend, they drove to a bed and breakfast. They kind of came up with the structure of it, the philosophy, I think the name on the way home in the car, and nothing much has changed as far as the basics from that time forward.
Okay.
So it's basically really fun, easy to learn. It's doing repetitive patterns, and the patterns are called tangles. And I don't know how many thousands of tangles are out there now, but the way it's deconstructed and taught, basically anyone can learn it, and that's what's so special about it. So I've taught, I think, 7-year-olds to 90-year-olds.
Right.
And people that think they don't have an artistic bone in their body, they can't draw, they can't. If you can write your own name, if you can write a couple different symbols, then you can do Zentangle. And that's what's exciting about it.
And she's a good teacher. She's taught me all kinds of wonderful patterns.
And you were a good student.
Love that. Oh, I love that. So how long have you yourself been a Zentangle? Are you called a teacher? Referred to as
I'm
a
a
teacher?
certified Zentangle teacher, and what that means is I did go to Providence, Rhode Island to get certified by Rick and Maria and the family. It's a big family enterprise. So I have that accreditation, but I discovered it 7 years ago and kind of taught myself first. Just devoured everything I could on the internet. A lot of times with art or different things, you have an immediate connection. At the time, I was doing card making and scrapbooking and some other things, which were really fun. And then when I saw a little, tangled framed picture, I just connected with that immediately. So that's kind of how it started. And I taught myself, and then I taught some people at work, some elderly in our support groups, and then finally went and got certified in 2014.
Nice.
And then haven't looked back. I'm still working my day job.
Oh, I was just
burning
going to
the candle at night, doing as much as this because I love it. I'm very passionate about teaching it.
And is this your zone too? Your zone?
Yeah, I'm kind of a night owl. So after Gary goes to bed and Chewy's off to bed, then I'm in my room, and I just have to cut it off at some point because then it's like, it's 1 o'clock and I have to go to work in the morning, and then I suffer. But no, and I don't know, you'll probably touch on that later, but just the way we've expanded, I wanted to show this is basically what a beginning tile is when I teach a beginning class. So it is 4 different tangles. It's kind of a elemental basic approach to it, and then you can just go, the sky's the limit with what else you want to do with it.
Oh, awesome. I remember this when I took her first class. This was the basic, and it was very interesting because I can't draw at all, but I did this. Yay!
You can draw. I've seen your work because she took the one class and you didn't come back for quite a while, but then when I went to your home and saw everything you'd been doing, I was really happy. It was great.
Fun.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun, and it's nice to be in that Zen Tangle zone.
Yes. What has really been, and you can Google this because the testimonials and the data out there now is tremendous, but the way it helps people with depression, pain management, anxiety, autism. It's gone far more than what Rick and Maria ever thought of that weekend, you know,
Right.
2003. So it's pretty
It's
great.
healthful. Healthful.
Gets you out of your head and just focusing on something else for a while.
Well, can you tell our viewers the different types of materials that are used for Zentangle?
Sure. So of course there's paper,
Uh-huh.
and when they were developing the concept, with Maria already being an artist, she wanted to use very quality type materials. So these basic little tiles that we use, we call them tiles because of the size and shape. It's 100% cotton paper made from Fabriano. It's the oldest printing company in the world, out of Italy. And it's sturdy enough where you can actually just be in your car, be at the dentist office, and be able to hold this and do your artwork. So that's kind of neat.
Oh, that is neat.
They then progressed to different shapes of paper. So we have the circles, which is like a Zendala. One of the newer ones is this little triangle shape, which is, I thought, what are we going to do with this? It just didn't seem like much, but it's actually become kind of a favorite. It is fun on its own, or that I do have a mosaic put together with I think 6 of them, so it forms like a hexagon.
Oh, nice.
And then they did different color paper, so we use tan, we use black, and then I've just kind of gone off on my own, and when I'm out and about, any surface that I think I can draw on, I give it a try. So the pumpkins that we do every year are really popular. I do ceramics, wood, and then the brown paper mache, that's been really fun too. So
Nice.
and we change pens when we change surfaces. So if you're going to do more of a ceramic surface, then we use more of a permanent pen, but the quality of the ink is still really good.
Nice, nice.
And the linen canvas, I don't know if I mentioned that, that kind of got me discovered enough to go teach at a really big retreat, so that was really fun.
Oh, with the linen paper.
Well, no, it's a canvas. When I first did them, it was stretched linen canvas like on wood. So like a big canvas. I did like a 20 by 30, I think it's in the hallway. But I taught at our Portland Tangle U, which is kind of a retreat just for Certified Zentangle Teacher. So it's you're teaching to your peers. And that was last April. I did that in Portland. I taught to 140 other CZTs. And we did a 10 by 10 linen panel. And it was pretty amazing and inspiring. And I felt pretty proud because a lot of these CZTs had not really graduated much from our small little paper tiles. So they were a little frantic at first. Like, you know, are we going to sketch it out first? No, Zentangle is no mistakes. You just kind of dive in and go, and the journey along the way is as important as the end result. And so, yeah, that was really neat.
Oh, interesting. Well, now, what kind of pens do you use, like, to make these tiles?
So on the paper, we when Maria was choosing all of her tools, because she went through a lot of different pens, different paper, the Sakura Micron pen is what we kind of landed on. And it's waterproof ink, it's fade proof, it's acid free, I mean, it's just beautiful quality. So your little piece is kind of like a museum piece of art. This will last for probably longer than I'm alive, for sure. So my grandchildren might get it. But,
nice. Okay.
And then if you do go on to the bigger pieces, then there's other, more like a marker style pen, the Identity pens, and they still have that good quality ink. Sharpies can be used sometimes, but you know, you don't want something that's going to bleed or fade. Or,
right.
So.
Oh, of course, sure.
And we started out with the black, you know, black ink on the white paper with a pencil for shading. And a lot of people right away are, when are we going to do color? Well, the reason for this is because you want this to be a stress-free type of art method, and having just a one color ink to choose from, no others.
Oh, good point.
It just takes all other choices and stress away. I know the coloring books have gotten to be really popular. Zentangle kind of drove that business, actually. But I've talked to people that those actually stress them out.
Oh, really? Okay.
They're so big and they're so involved and intricate, and then they've got their box of 72 color markers, and they don't know where to begin, and they use, you know. So that was the reason for this. I mean, it did have a reason to keep it kind of stress-free and mindful. And but then, like everything else, we do get maybe a little bored and want to move on. So even just this little guy here, the addition of the tan paper and brown ink, nothing big, but just that little bit, and with the white charcoal, just creates another nice look.
Well, it does. It really, really does. Well, now, what is the first step in creating a Zentangle tile?
So, and I didn't set up my easel, I could have done that for you, but again, to make it be a stress-free experience, we start with just a blank tile and we use a pencil. We put a dot in each corner, we connect those dots, so now you have a border, and now your paper's not blank anymore.
Right.
Some people just stare at that blank paper, don't even want to start.
Oh.
It's true. Some people are really, they think about their third grade art teacher that laughed at them and they've never done anything since. So, and then we divide up the paper in what we call string. And the string is basically, if you thought about a piece of yarn, if you went like this and dropped it, it would form different pockets, spaces.
Okay.
So we do that, and this one is a Z string, basically, so it gave us 4 spaces to put 4 different tangles in.
Okay.
And so if you take a class by a teacher, then they're leading you through that whole experience. And by the end of the 3 hours, we try to get 2 tiles done. A lot of times we get 1 tile done.
Sure.
But they're so amazed that they were able to do that. But that's the beauty of how it's taught, so structured.
And it's fun. It really is fun. It really is fun. Well, now in the past couple of years, you have really expanded your talents and skills and teaching to other, I don't even know what you call them, methods like your pumpkins and, you know what I'm talking about, I don't.
So when we get off the basic philosophy, the basic tile, then most of these works are considered Zentangle Inspired Art, what we call a ZIA, Z-I-A.
Oh, okay.
So it still is using the tangles that we've learned in Zentangle, the steps, the materials, the tools, but it's just kind of branching out and putting them on a different surface, creating a different look. And to be honest, my students push me. I have a really, I'm so lucky to have this loyal following of probably close to 30 ladies that, you know, they're online, they're seeing what everyone else is doing across the nation, they're in different Zentangle groups, and well, Kim, when are we going to do Zen Gems? I'm like, well, let me teach myself, and then we'll have a class. So that's usually how all of this comes about, or I will see something that really grabs my eye, and I'm like, ooh, I wanna do that, and so I'll kind of research it and prep for it. Like the class we're having this Saturday is something new, and that's what's this actually. So this is my first kind of prep work, doing it in more black and white.
Oh, look at that.
So doing kind of different circle shapes, but within the different circles doing a different Zentangle pattern.
Oh, look at that. That's beautiful.
And then the class is actually going to be in this magenta micron pen with coordinating watercolor pencil.
Isn't that beautiful?
And this is actually called an opus tile. So it's kind of funny. They'll go from tiny ones like this to something like this that's 10 by 10. And these are beautiful because it's the same quality paper. It's still that 100% cotton from Italy. And so this is kind of fun. Debbie Lynn's going to be there and do this class with us.
That's beautiful.
And I'm going to do one more mock-up because the colored pencil that's used is actually a watercolor pencil. So, and the pen work is waterproof. So once this is done, now I could take a little wet brush and kind of maybe blend out the colors and create more of a background and soften it up. So that's what I'm going to experiment with tonight.
Wow, and this is your latest your rendition of
yeah.
Boy, these are beautiful.
And this was inspired by a good friend. She actually took the Certified Zentangle seminar, same one I did. She's from Amsterdam, Marguerite, and so she sat next to me and she was just a kick, and we've stayed friends all this time. And she's just very imaginative, and so she had done this kind of on the small scale, and I'm like, let's go big.
Oh, so that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, now you have been commissioned, right, to do special works for...
Yes, the last couple of years, it's part of the Mile High Jazz Band here in Carson City, and then the Carson City Arts Coalition, and the Nevada Arts Association. so I've done some good networking in the last couple of years and made some great connections. And so often they will ask artists to donate a piece to go into their foundation, and then they sell it for, fundraising for their organizations. So a couple years ago, if anyone attended the Nevada Day Parade, you would have seen us in a big truck, and then ladies and men walking behind us with paper parasols, and just the little, they're paper, so they come up, and they're from China, and there were small ones all the way to like large ones like this.
Oh, okay.
And so I was asked to do one, and so I did a small one, and I loved that. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do the big one, and it turned out super nice, really soft metallic colors. And Mark Salinas, who is our new director of arts and culture in Carson City, he bought mine to help raise funds for their organization. And then we were all in that parade, so that was really fun. And then this year, Cindy Brenneman, she is the owner of the Bliss Mansion. And so she's kind of the one that gets these things going. And so this year, she wanted to do these mannequins. And so all the other artists that participated had like real live mannequins, storefront mannequins. And they painted them, they created very imaginative things they did with these mannequins. But for me, Cindy was so thoughtful for the Zentangle work that she went online and, is this in the picture?
I'm going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
She bought this paper mache brown like woman's form mannequin. And asked if I would want to work on that, and I'm like, absolutely. It's like right up my alley. So that was really fun, and the original one for that is still in a shop right now because they rotate them all around, and then they'll sell them off, I think, in the fall to raise money. But because of these things that I've volunteered and donated my time and materials, it's just spiraled or with other opportunities.
Nice.
I have 2 of my big mannequins in Ireland now in 2 different galleries.
Oh, we'll be talking about that.
And then just recently, if anyone watched the news or Carson Now, they had a big reception the other night at the Reno airport. And Mark Salinas, who's just been amazing at creating these events, it's a temporary display. I think it's on through April. And so one whole wall is nothing but these parasols that we did 2 years ago. And then the other wall is many canvases, paintings, photography. And so that was really neat to be part of.
Now, didn't you also do a vintage school desk?
Oh, yeah. So the Fourth Ward School in Virginia City contacted me. So 2 years in a row now I've not competed, but participated. And that became due because of my connection with St. Mary's Art Center.
Right.
So Erica, the director there, kind of threw my name in the hat for the Fourth Ward School. And the first year I thought, well, there's probably a couple hundred artists doing works of art to donate, and you had to use a piece of these vintage school desks. I think they were from 1910. And you could use the top of the desk or the legs or the seat. And so I did the top of the desk, and I got so attached I did not want to let that go because it came out really nice.
Oh, it was beautiful.
But it brought in $500 in their silent auction, so I was really excited about that. And then this year she was going to do the desks again, and I wasn't happy with any of the ones she brought me. And then she ended up bringing me the seat back of a theater seat from like the 1900s. And so that turned out very neat, and my husband Gary helped me. We ended up putting coat hooks like along the bottom of it, and I did a kind of a woman's profile and all the Zentangle patterns, and so so it's been, I wouldn't have thought 7 years ago that I would be having the opportunities that I have and what's taken place. It's pretty amazing.
Well, you really have expanded. Oh, I'm loving this. Every time that you advertise or you promote, like on Facebook, a new Zentangle, it's like, look at this, it's getting better and better. And I'm at your creations and your expansion and everything that you've done. Okay, now what I would really like to ask you is, could you please tell our viewers your awesome adventures about where you have gone to present your Zentangle?
Probably the most exciting. It was quick and over way too fast, but when I went to Ireland. So my son and his girlfriend, a good friend of mine, we went to Ireland, and that was after I had done the retreat in Portland. And Caroline, who's a certified Zentangle teacher in Ireland, because there are, oh gosh, the count keeps going up. I think there's over 2,000 now certified teachers worldwide. I mean, worldwide, from almost every country, every state of ours. And so I had met her in Portland, and she knew I was going to Ireland, so I was picking her brain. So when that was over and she got back home, she contacted me. She goes, I'm doing 2 different events here to promote Zentangle, because it's fairly new in Ireland. And would you be interested in putting any of your works? I'm like, well, let me think about that. Okay, yes, I will. So that was a no-brainer, and then you got to think about shipping and customs. And so I went with the mannequin because it weighs like hardly anything, and sent 2 of them off. So one's in Galloway and one is in Cork. And she did a wonderful event. And then I found out she was actually having her own European retreat the same time we were going to be there for our trip. So it was quite a feat, but we pulled it off. We got up at the crack of dawn, got on a ferry to Waterford, then drove 3 hours south down to Skibbereen. And I was late because that's just what happens in Ireland with 2-lane roads and roundabouts. And she didn't want to start without me, so they waited, and I opened the door. Here I am, and it was kind of surreal. I mean, people clapping, running up to me, hugging me. I'm like, I've been corresponding with some of these women for 5 years or longer, and then to finally meet them in person. And then it's like, okay, we've run a lot of time, let's get to work. And so we did, I think it was like a 6x6 linen panel, because that's what they all wanted to do again. And so it was a really fast class, and then I was out the door, and, but very exciting, yeah.
Well, sure. You mixed pleasure with work there. Were you over there for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks?
2 weeks we took to for our trip to Ireland, yeah. And I mean, my house now reflects not just Zentangle, but many pictures from Ireland, so that was great. I turned 60 over there.
Did you? You spent your birthday there. Nice,
yes. Yeah,
nice.
That was planned, so.
How fun. Now, you have been acknowledged and recognized for being a teacher, and also I hear that you're published.
Yes, a couple years ago I went down to California and attended a retreat by another certified Zentangle teacher. And that's what a lot of us do, so we can keep adding on to our knowledge and training, so I can pass it on to our students. And Charlotte Hicks was her name, and we're actually having her back up in this area in May for our own retreat, so that will be exciting. Well, she was putting together her first book, and she was past her deadline with her publisher. And about midnight, 11:30, she's texting me that she was on the chapter with shading, and she found some work in her own studio that she was going to use, and she realized it wasn't her work, it was my work that I had done when we were at the retreat, and she had me go up front and teach a little bit. So she's like, I need some examples of your shading because they're awesome and I want them in my book. And so that was like, you know, send me pictures and JPEG and pixels, and I said, I'll take a picture and send it through my phone. I hope that works. And that was this little guy here that, so don't discount the size of your work. That's what I tell my students. This is just a little tiny, like what, 2x2 bijou tile, we call it. And just because of the way I shaded my little pearls in there, got me in a book. And I actually have 2 of them in her book. And then the founders of Zentangle came out with this book just recently. And it's a whole new philosophy of doing these really small fragments and different tangles and different grid patterns. And we had a reunion of our CZT teachers a couple years ago, and they kind of had us work on this while we were there, and they said they were going to try to put a book together. And so this just came out this month, so I have 3 items in this as well. So pretty darn exciting.
Well, it is to be published like that. That's awesome. That's very awesome.
When you join the Zentangle family, that's exactly what it is, a family, and everyone just welcomes you, and it's so positive and enriching, and so.
How nice. Now, you do have a day job.
Yes.
Okay. Will your Zentangle ever become your business, though?
Well, it's been a business for quite a few years.
Uh-huh.
I probably need to try to make a profit at the business, but
I understand.
But no, I would love for this to become more of a full-time opportunity.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you have any future dates? I know you mentioned that there's going to be a retreat, but are you planning on maybe going to Ireland again?
That probably another year or two away. I do want to return definitely and get to Scotland this time.
Oh.
I am attending a retreat in Canada
Oh.
the first week in May, so right before we have our own retreat. And that's about an hour and a half out of Toronto.
Nice.
So it's one of the CZTs that I've really looked up to for a long time.
Sure.
And just a beautiful little village, and so it's fun to get away and meet your friends and do art all day and art all night. And
well, why not? I love that. Well, let me see here. How many Zentangles do you think that you've drawn over the years? We talking 10,000?
Oh, probably not that many.
8,000.
No, I don't know. It's probably up there in the hundreds for sure.
Yeah.
And I've given a lot away. I've sold a lot of my work, and then my room is stuffed full.
Sure.
I have a photography background, so presentation means a lot to me. So I will frame a lot of my work, and we've pretty much ran out of wall space.
I get that. I get.
But yeah, there's been a lot, probably in the several hundreds for sure.
Sure. Nice. Nice. Well, can you tell our viewers your contact information for classes or to buy your items?
So I have an email. The name of my business is Tangle Wonders. And so the email is tanglewonders@gmail.com.
Okay.
My husband created a website for me, which is new this year.
Oh, nice.
And so you can go to the website and see some of my work. We don't have the class schedule built in yet, but that will be coming.
Okay.
And so that is www.tanglewonders.com.
Nice.
My phone number.
You can add that if you'd like.
775-230-6326. And then, of course, I'm on Facebook, so personally, and then with my business page.
So you're just all over the place. Isn't that nice? And published in books, too.
Yeah,
Love
pretty cool.
Love that. Well, Kim, thank you so much for being back on Psychic Creations for the third time.
Thank you, Sandy.
You're my favorite guest, that's for sure.
Don't say that in front of Debbie Lynn.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you two were running clubs with the radio and with TV shows. So, all right, thank you again
Thanks,
so
Sandy.
much. Now, if you would like to be a guest on Psychic Creations, you can get a hold of me at my website, which is www.sandypsychicstones.com, or you can get a hold of me at my email, which is admin@sandypsychicstones.com. Thank you so much for watching Psychic Creations, and we'll see you next